The Republican primary in South Carolina and the Democratic caucuses in Nevada are history. Let's listen to the victors.
Some may have doubted us, but we never doubted each other. And this one's for you.
When you win, it's beautiful. And we are going to start winning for our country. Let's go. Let's have a big win in Nevada. Let's have a big win at the SEC. Let's put this thing away.
Okay, 2 contests, 2 winners, except evidently there was another.
It is clear to me, and I think most observers, that the wind is on at our backs. We have the momentum.
And another.
This has become a 3-person race, and we will win the nomination.
And another?
We are the only campaign that has beaten and can beat Donald Trump.
Hang on, we're not yet done with the winners. Here.
Tonight, one more time, we have defied and overcome expectations in the state of South Carolina.
Apparently only one weekend contestant did not declare victory Saturday night. That would be Jeb Bush, who officially ended his bid for the Oval Office. The Republican race that once had 17 candidates now has 5. Tomorrow night, Republicans in Nevada will caucus. South Carolina's Democratic primary is Saturday. Then voters in Massachusetts and 10 other states cast their votes a week from tomorrow on Super Tuesday. Joining me now are Jennifer Braceras, editor at New Boston Post and a Rubio supporter. Good to see you, Jennifer. Mo Cowan, former Democratic senator from Massachusetts and chief of staff for Governor Deval Patrick, now a senior vice president at Mintz Levin, and yet has not yet endorsed the candidate. Senator, it's good to see you, too.
Good to see you, Jim.
So you, on your what's it called, New Boston Post?
Yes.
Okay, you described it as the Kardashification of America, the whole Trump phenomenon.
Yes.
Kardashification or not, he's pretty much unstoppable now, isn't he?
I do think that there's a path to the nomination for Rubio.
But a very slim path.
It's getting harder. It's definitely getting harder, and people like me are upset about that.
Upset, but it seems to me, as the day goes by, it's totally anecdotal, that people like you are more accepting, even if he's not their first choice, that maybe this guy could be a decent nominee, being Trump. Am I mischaracterizing your position? Look at the pain on your face, by the way.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of pain on my face today. No, it's acceptance that he's a plausible candidate, that he could be the nominee, and that he could be president. But that doesn't mean we like it or that we'll necessarily vote for it. I have to tell you, though, what I'm starting to think more and more is going to happen is that Trump will get the nomination and make Rubio his VP, which is going to put people like me in a huge conundrum.
You know, let's stay on Trump just for a couple of seconds. Again, this is anecdotal, Senator, but it seems to me the Democrats are not quite as excited as they were a month or 2 ago with Trump as the nominee. They're all saying, oh, yeah, let's have Donald Trump. Yeah, they don't seem to be quite as confident as they were a month ago. Do you think that's a fair statement?
I'm not sure I'm the best person for this. I've been wrong on Trump from day one.
Yeah.
I thought he would be out of this race a long time ago.
Not we all have. This is one exception to that rule, but go ahead.
Fair enough, fair enough. You're right about that. I think anyone who's serious about politics, serious about governance, didn't think that we'd be here with Donald Trump. And I think those of us who still are serious about it are worried about Donald Trump. I think Jennifer's right. First of all, history shows that if you win in New Hampshire, you win in South Carolina, you're the nominee.
Since 1980, any Republican that's won both has been the nominee. She's going to nod that history is not that important, but that is the history, nevertheless.
Yeah, and I didn't want to look at her because I didn't want to depress her, but I don't want to depress myself either. I'm worried about a Donald Trump America.
You know, one last thing about what got him there quickly. Peter Beinart wrote a great piece in The Atlantic, I think, today, saying if Jeb Bush hadn't existed, Donald Trump would have had to create him. He was the perfect foil. The establishment, the old guard. There's some truth in that. There's a lot of truth in that, isn't there?
There's some truth in that, but I think Donald Trump is a creation of 2 factors.
What are they?
The media, who gave him so much attention at the beginning, and the fact that we had a field of 17 candidates to start off with. If we had started off with Rubio, Kasich, Cruz, and Trump, who I think span sort of the ideological spectrum of the party, I think it would be a much different race right now.
And even though Cruz is one of the 14 people declared victory Saturday night, I'll parrot what everybody else says. If this guy can't win the state tailor-made for him, namely South Carolina, in fact, he came in 3rd right behind Rubio, he's cooked, yes?
I think so. I think the Cruz campaign was looking hard at the South, and maybe they're still banking on Super Tuesday, but I think losing in South Carolina and losing the evangelical vote is a big, big miss for them.
You serve with him?
I did.
Did you hate him like everybody else or not?
I don't hate anyone. Jim.
Okay, fine. One last thing on the Cruz, Rubio, your guy. You know, I thought one of the truths that Donald Trump spoke Saturday night was this. You know, all the experts were saying after the numbers came in, well, if everybody drops out except for Cruz and Rubio, all those other establishment numbers go to Rubio. In his acceptance speech, Trump said the other night, they're all acting like every one of those votes goes to Rubio. And while he may get more than Trump, Trump gets some of them too, of course.
Yes, he's right about that. And it's the problem is that as long as Cruz and Rubio and Kasich are all in it, the harder it becomes for them to, any one candidate, to acquire enough delegates to beat Trump. So
let's go to your side of the aisle here. In delegates alone, it's really obviously obscenely early on.
Sure.
Clinton is crushing Sanders amongst delegates. And no one knows how that works, but that's the reality.
Don't forget the superdelegates.
And the superdelegates even more, obviously, some of your friends and others like that. What's the path, even though only a couple thousand votes had they been switched, and we'd be talking about Sanders, boomlet, New Hampshire and Nevada, what's the path for Sanders now? Is there one?
I think Secretary Clinton winning in Nevada, no matter what the delta is a big win. I think it sets her up nicely going into Super Tuesday. And in many of those states, she has a strong, strong base. And I think the voting public in the Democratic Party, who typically comes out to either a caucus or a primary, you're going to start to see some movement towards her. And I think you're going to start to see a gap. Doesn't mean that Senator Sanders is going anywhere. He's made it quite clear. And he has the resources, he has the energy, and he has the support. I think he's going to be in it for a while. So this contest is going to last for quite a long while, perhaps even longer than the Republican contest.
You're arguably the most important base for the Democratic Party or African-American voters. There's been a huge split amongst the so-called intelligentsia. Let's assume Clinton pulls this thing out. Do people like Michelle Alexander and Cornel West, who wrote this weekend in the Globe, Clinton cannot conceive of the victory of Sanders. She is blinded by her Machiavellian morality and spiritual vacuity. I mean, those are fighting words. Is there going to be a problem for her if she ends up with a nomination amongst the most reliable Democratic electorate, black voters?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I have great respect for Dr. West, who has a great way with words. But the reality is, I think the Democratic Party knows, Secretary Clinton knows what she stands for. And I think if she is the nominee, and I think things are trending in that direction, perhaps, I think the voters will come out for her.
You know,
I
one of the
actually
things,
have
I'm
to
sorry.
disagree with that.
Go ahead.
I think that she's going to have a real problem if the nominee is either Trump or Rubio. And here's why. Rubio does appeal to a broader cross-section of the electorate. You saw him out there with Nikki Haley. You saw him out there with Senator Tim Scott. And what he's saying is, we're not your grandfather's GOP. We're the party of opportunity for all Americans, for minorities, for immigrants. Come with us.
That's the Rubio thing.
That's the Rubio
How about
thing.
the Trump thing?
The Trump thing, people cannot imagine that minorities will go to Trump, but believe it or not, they will. Because the fact of the matter is, the African American community, as articulated by Barbara Jordan way back when, is not in favor of increased immigration, legal or otherwise. And the truth is that legal Hispanics aren't either. And despite his rhetoric and despite his hostility that people see in his tone, those communities, enough of them will vote for him to tip it.
Well, one last concern that she might have, you have an odd smile on your face, but a lot of people I spoke to in New Hampshire, and you've seen a lot on television, who are you voting for? I'm not sure yet. I'm either going to vote for Trump or Sanders. If Hillary Clinton's the nominee, is there a possibility of some significant defection of Sanders voters to Trump, or do you just not accept that as possible?
I don't accept that as a wide possibility. Listen, when someone drops out, you never know. You can't guarantee that every Sanders voter is going to be a Clinton voter. I also take the position, with all due respect to Jennifer, the National Republican Party she described would be an ideal one, I imagine, but it doesn't exist. I think the rhetoric of the candidates in that party have turned off a significant amount of the population. In the general election, it's going to come back to haunt them. This is exactly what they pledged not to do after 2012, and they turned around and did it all over, but worse.
We know it's not over, so don't get excited. We're just talking after Nevada and South Carolina. Jennifer, got to go. Good to see you. Senator, pleasure.
Thank you.
Nice to see you as well.